happy International Women's Day. Thank you everyone who's joining us across Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn.
Woo-hoo.
I think that's all of them. And I want to give out a special shout out to Arti, Bedi, Pullins. This is her first time doing a live show at QuestionPro, and I could not be more excited to have her here and joining us. We are going to spend about the next 30 minutes talking about International Women's Day, how QuestionPro supports women in research, and some of the tools that we use to really make sure that, especially on our audience platform, that we involve a diversity of all sets for our surveys and making sure no one is left out. We are really passionate about diversity and inclusion here at QuestionPro. And I'm so excited to have Arti here to kind of announce herself to the world as she joins QuestionPro and to tell us a little bit about her story and what her future looks like in research.
Oh, wow. That's a loaded question.
I know. I'm so excited. For those of you joining us, my name is Wiese. I'm the director of marketing here, and I'm so excited you're here. I'm based in Austin, Texas. And Arti, where are you?
I am in what looks like sunny Chicago. Today, the sun is out, which is very exciting because it's never out in this early March or late February. And I am so excited to be here today and welcome everybody on this incredible International Women's Day. Just a little bit of background about myself. As Crystal said, I am one of the newest member officially of the QuestionPro global family. I've had the pleasure of working with QuestionPro as an outsider partner, and then magic happened. And now we're a big, happy family.
Love it.
I am the president and chief healthcare officer, like I said, based in Chicago. But today is not about me. Today is about you and women and celebrating our success and growth and triumph and everything we do as women, whether at work, whether at home. We do a lot of stuff at home. I get it, with our families, with our pets. So really excited to be here.
Awesome. So let us know where you're from in the chats. We love making sure that we reach our international community. And on any given day, I know we have people watching from Ireland, South Africa, Germany, Bangladesh, Malaysia, Japan. So, we're, at least Arti and I are lucky enough we get to be in the same time zone when we're running events like this online. But let us know where you're from in the chat window. And we are just so excited you're here. Well, Arti, let's jump into it. You kind of dove in there a little bit, but here's how I'm thinking we're going to structure this, right? Yeah. I'm going to give you like a really fun fact about International Women's Day. Ooh. And then I'm going to ask you a question. Now, they're not leading fun facts because this first fun fact definitely seems like it could lead us down a different path, but it's not. It's just more of a fun fact.
All right.
Let's do it. About your political affiliation.
Oh, boy.
Did you know that in February 28th in 1909 was the first International Women's Day started by the Socialist Party of America?
Wow. I would not have thought about that, but that is pretty interesting.
And then by 1910, Claire Zetkin proposed it to the Social Democratic Party of the idea of creating an International Women's Day. And by 1911, the year my grandma was born, they had over 1 million people protesting across Austria, Denmark, Germany, Switzerland, and the United States.
Wow, that is incredible how far that goes. And, I think if you think about those stats, it really makes you understand value as a woman leader, as a mom, as a caretaker, even our amazing fathers and brothers and husbands and male counterparts at home and at work, how much we have done, how much women have accelerated over these hundreds and hundreds of years, and how much more we have to do, right? We have accomplished so much for ourselves, our generation, our daughters, our sisters, and our mothers and our grandmothers, what they did for us. But hey, the world is our oyster still, in my opinion, and we can still continue to do so much more. So how exciting is is that fun fact? I had no idea about the history.
I mean, I think it's just like a fun, I mean, it is such a fun fact. I just was like, ooh, socialism.
It, it is. It is.
But aside from that, Artie, tell us a little about you. You're talking about, how much lift women do in the workplace and at home. But tell us a little bit. Let's start with like your personal. Who are you? What are
Who
your
am
fun
I?
facts?
Oh my God, that's a loaded question. Who am I? Let me tell you, let me tell everybody listening. So I have a very interesting global background. I am Indian, 100% Indian. I was born in India. I moved to the United States when I was 12. So yes, my adult life, I have lived here, even though I look 20, ladies and gents joining us. But I moved when my immediate nucleus family moved when I was 12. Grew up here in the United States in the state of Michigan, went to college here, met my husband in college. And then the ironic thing is, way back in the day, I used to work for another tech company and actually moved back to India.
Oh.
And started a company in India. And I don't know, I can't see who all is online, but I had invited some of my past Indian amazing women colleagues to come join us if it made sense for them today, and went back to the mothership, if you want to say, homeland, and lived there for almost 18 months, started a company, led that company for a couple of years before coming back to the US. So it's kind of been a really interesting journey to not only have experience here. I speak two other Indian languages. One is Hindi. The other one is a smaller long language called Punjabi.
Those are so many fun facts, Artie.
Yeah. Don't ask me to read Hindi or Punjabi. I can't do that anymore. My mom is still very, very good at like physically reading it. But I can fully converse in it, but I can't read it. And then I can understand. I would say I'm pretty communicative in Arabic. So just some fun things from a global perspective, I guess.
Yeah, that's amazing. I did not know that about moving back to India, but so kind of in the theme of getting to know one another and understanding the impact women have on society. How many companies have you started? Because I know of at least two. Then you just mentioned, but I'm assuming, were you that like 13-year-old that was like, I'm gonna create a hustly lemonade stand?
No, I wasn't. No, as a teenager, no. I just wanted my parents to do everything for me. But this three companies. The first one was the one I mentioned in India. The second one was also a technology company. It was named after my oldest son, Aiden. I called it Aiden's Corner. Oh, that one was horrible. It crashed and burned so bad. So many things I learned from that. But you have to skid your knees and you have to get back up and get back on the horse, and learn from every experience you have. And then Pundit Consultants, which is what I started almost 5.5 years ago. That was the healthcare consulting and digital tech consulting company that I owned, which is now owned by the incredible QuestionPro. So 3 companies. I'm 42, so maybe I can get 1 more, 2 more under my.
Oh, you can knock out as many as you need to.
We'll see. Yeah.
That's amazing. And you did just we brought Pundit Consultings into the QuestionPro family at the first of the year. It was our first 2023 acquisition. And if anybody follows QuestionPro, we're always buying companies. I always say we're always buying companies, which I realize is like very, not rare, but we do like 3 or 4 to 5 a year. So since I've worked here, it's always been very just like, we buy companies.
Yeah. And here's a really interesting thing. Even if we look at last year, what QuestionPro did, and even this first, 70-ish days that were in the year, the 2 companies we purchased last year were women owned and women led, women execs, and luckily mine as well. So kudos to Vivek and Eric, who are the co-founders at QuestionPro at a global scale, as well as our managing directors all over the world, of kind of leading with intention, right? Also looking out in the market and saying, sure, what are some of the great qualitative things we can acquire and also give back to our customers? But how ironic is that? That we ended up doing that from Dig Site last year to Sweet CX towards the end of fourth quarter, and then very lucky me, very
I
fortunate.
love that. And, that really goes back to my time at QuestionPro. I've been here a little longer than you. I started in 2019. And we have a women's only Slack channel. We're inclusive, but we have our moments of exclusivity. And I was kind of going through that channel, looking at it over the years. And when I started, there were probably about 20 women in it total in the company. And now we're up to over 75 in just 3 years. We're seeing some exponential growth. I always tease Eric that he should do like a study of like the women that he's added to QuestionPro and the success of QuestionPro.
Look at that. That would be great. We are a data company, Crystal. Let's go start doing some research.
He's always like that might be causation, but it's not correlation. And I'm like,
oh, I don't know. Well, I think we should do that study, and I think we should come back here to this live audience and see what they have to say.
But in most of my career, I've worked in tech, right? I've worked in machine learning. I've worked in blockchain. I've worked in very male-dominated fields. And as a woman, sometimes it is hard to have your voice heard or have your, I say sorry too much, frankly, and, to really kind of get your, not opinions, but your point of view out there in the world. What are some tips and tricks you've seen over the years getting your point of view in mostly male-dominated industries out in front of people?
That's a great question. I also grew up in tech, very male-dominated. Actually, my first job out of undergrad was with Ford Motor Company in electrical engineering. Yes,
you can all maybe your resume, because now I got so many follow-up questions.
Oh my God, it was not a cultural environment for me at all. I know amazing people in the automotive industry around the world. It just wasn't my cultural fit. But to your point about being in a room dominated by more male counterparts and very little female counterparts, a couple of things I learned very early on, and the women I mentor, I share the same feedback. One, it's okay to speak up. We are in that room or in that job or in that environment to make a difference. So if you believe you can make a difference, then you should feel confident and you should speak up. And that, I think some of that just comes with time. If I would go back and say, would I have done that when I was a young 20-some-old? Probably not, right? And I didn't, because you're a little younger, a little shy, but times are changing. So speak up and earn the space that you are sitting in. The other thing I would say, it's also, even though I just said speak up, it's also okay to embrace what women bring to the table. We bring more compassion. We bring more, I'll use the word, it's looked at negatively. I don't think it's a negative word, emotion. It's okay. It's okay to be emotional, and showcase that and share that with your leaders, with your VPs, with your execs, and with your peers. There's nothing really wrong in that, and it makes us unique, makes us more incredible. And I think we kind of, men and women are created very different. It's okay to bring out your multitasking skills that I think we women do naturally. It's a natural trait for us, right? So use those strengths in order to be known and be heard, and to share your opinion. And then the last thing, I actually started to do this probably about 10 years ago. As Crystal, you said, we have a group in our company, and a Slack channel that we use for all women, and we share and we talk to each other. Reach out to your peers. Reach out to other women in the company. Reach out to other execs outside of your company, in associations, in church groups, in school groups, in your community, and have an open conversation, and let us together, like we have since the 1900s, lift each other up, right? Like you hear a lot of this, like on each other's shoulders. Well, let's continue to do that. So those are my tricks, whether they're good or bad, but they're my personal tricks.
Something I will say that I've also noticed about your time here, and something that I've not fought against, but have noticed from a different generation of women than we are in now, is there was an old school thinking that there was only room for one woman at the top. Right. And that definitely, there's been a few times in tech over my years as I was getting started that I definitely felt like someone was on my head pushing me down. Yeah. And the reality for most of us out there now is that we are stronger if we all go up together. Like when the tide comes in, all ships rise. There is no reason that when you get a seat at the table, you can't use your hips and push somebody out of the way and make room for another woman at the table. And I think that's something you're really great at, is bringing women up together, and something that I have tried to do. You only need to be pushed down once to be like, I don't like that. But instead of saying, okay, well, that's what that generation or those particular mentors in my life did, does not mean I have to do that. And so how do you change the bias and change the kind of the historical vibes, for lack of a better word, that really we're not necessarily welcoming, because we're seeing as more women rise up, there is more room for us at the table.
Yeah. I agree. I think a couple of points you made are key. I think women supporting women is a key aspect. Leading, bringing others up, making a seat at the table. Like, I love the analogy of use your hips, move them around, and right. I love it. Shakira would be proud of you using her tongue. I think I'm going to make a controversial statement here, but I think we as women can also continue to do a better job of working with our male partners, colleagues, in order to create that inclusion and openness, and also sort of standing up for ourselves more, right? I think we do get nervous, and I know I get nervous. I have previously. I even do now. I'm not gonna lie, but so do they. And I think we have to work together to get there. I know I hear a lot of different things, and maybe we'll get comments. People will be like, Arti, you're crazy. That no, women have to only do it by themselves. I feel like there are incredible male counterparts that will help you succeed. I have women mentors. I want to say I have more male mentors than I have women mentors, and they have never stood in my way. All they've done is accelerated. I have some goofy, kooky mentors, and I wouldn't call them mentors, male leaders in the past that have shoved me down, like you're saying. Like, you can just feel it, like, okay, mansplaining and all of that stuff. But you got to kind of look past it. You almost, as my mom says, just off your shoulder, you do you, and you be great at what you are, be passionate and happy about what you're doing, and move forward. Yeah, my mom actually says that to me. What are you doing? Put on your lipstick, do your hair, and get out there.
And that brings us kind of to the theme of International Women's Day this year, which is embrace equity. And so there is that opportunity for all people to really have an equal seat and have a fair share. The pie doesn't get smaller because your piece got smaller. Right. And or the pie is just getting bigger and your piece is the same. I think being so competitive in nature really doesn't get us anywhere, and doesn't get society anywhere. And so really think about, hey, if I think about this all the time with my team. Marketing tends to be often women, a lot of times, at least is what I've seen. I even had to be more intentional now, just hiring equally, because I know I tend to, I'll be like, oh, I'll just hire this really, really fun girl. And you're like, no. Shout out to Mark and Jorge, and Rick. And so, making sure that we have diversity there, but also the equity across all, giving everyone an equal fair shot at their jobs or at their place in society, I really think is key this year. And there is a fun fact, starting in, oh no, I lost it. 1975 is when we started having a theme every year. Oh, no, 1996. Sorry. Not all right. And so breaking the bias, which was last year.
Who's on or not, but I know one of our product presidents Sonia Lucina is very passionate about women, equity, inclusion, diversity. And we talk about that a lot. We share data about that a lot on why companies, employers, managers should really embrace that and look at that in order to move your company, your business, your product, your community forward, and how that makes a significant difference. It was really interesting that you bring up. That's the theme of this year. Last evening, so it's March 8th today, March 7th, I belong to a phenomenal business leader club here in Chicago. It's called the Economic Club of Chicago. And we meet once every month or so as small groups. There's about 3,000, 4,000 members, but we meet as small groups. And the conversation yesterday was about equity. We were focusing more on health equity and how do we make sure health is accessible, healthcare and health is accessible all across. But being that we were right at the cusp of International Women's Day, the conversation automatically went to equity for minorities, for women, for diversity, inclusion, and everybody sitting around the table. There was 10 of us, maybe. 3 were women, the rest were our male counterparts. And it was a very healthy, open, honest conversation on the same point that you just made. How do we all lift together? How do we all create a community, a business community, us at a local Chicago level and at a global level, slowly to try to continually build that up. So I can talk about this stuff for hours. I know it is Wednesday morning and everybody's like, okay,
right?
Meetings.
I know. I was on a call earlier and I was like, oh, we usually do, webinars at like 11, so I can like tootle around during my morning. And I was like, oh, we're going today right into it.
I love it.
I think that is really important also, is get active in your community. So we talk a lot about what we do at QuestionPro, just because that's obviously like our point of where we work. Right. And so here, like some real active ways that if you're watching and you want to, get involved or see change happen in your workplace or in your social community, start a Slack channel in your company. Ours is called BABS, BABS. It has various different origins. Mm-hmm. One could say it's babes without the E. One could say it's badass babes. One could say it's badass something else.
It's all of it. It's whatever you want to make it.
And start a channel where you guys feel comfortable talking about things. We post everything from like I'm always posting because I love going to the salon and getting my hair colored. So I'm like, what's everybody doing for self-care? We have one of our colleagues she just completed a certification from Google for a very, very specific, what is it called? Course that she's now running with women in our group. And we're really trying to be encouraging about, if there's something in your life that you want to do, practice on your women, practice on your peers. Yeah. And really start, activating it that way. If you're at a company and in HR, some things you could do. Our Bangladesh team got gift baskets this year. Our LATAM women are all taking the day off. I'm sending out Starbucks cards, spoiler alert, Starbucks cards to all of our North America women. And so really just think about how you can play an active role in making change. You don't have to be super extroverted. You don't have to wait to be someone to do something.
Yep. Absolutely. I think that's a great point. Make a change in your own I guess group, if you want to say, or where you feel like, family, community, church, work, department, peers, however you want to look at it, school, with your kids. I have 2 boys. We thought, hey, maybe when we were trying to have kids, like, what if we had 2 girls? What if you had a boy and a girl? I was lucky to have 2 beautiful boys, and they see what I do. They see how I am growing and leading companies, and I have very open conversations with them as young men. How can they continue to support and elevate, even at a young age, at the age of 12 and at the age of 7, the women and the young girls that they have as friends, right? Like, let's have those conversations. I think part of it is just talking about it, guys. It's not a, faux pas. Let's get out there. Let's have conversations.
Yeah.
Let's uplift each other together. And let's see what else we can do as women, not only this time next year, but in the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. I have high hopes for our world and our kids coming up in creating a better world for us.
Yeah. And we are so excited that you're joining us here at QuestionPro, Arti. I am so excited for the team to learn from you and for you to kind of like be, I don't know, our woman vibe. You and Sonia and Sindhu really inspire me to what a woman leader looks like. And so we're so excited to have you here at QuestionPro. And we are also very excited. We're almost at time. I know you and I could literally sit on here and talk for hours. I literally could just Google women fun facts and we could just talk about them. But I do want to announce that starting this week, Live with Dan will be a woman takeover month. Every guest is going to be a woman, and we are so excited. This week it's going to be Live with Dan. Yell.
I get it.
And Danielle and I are going to be leading about 5 women from QuestionPro in just a 20-minute conversation about what they do here. And we're going to start trying to highlight some women from QuestionPro, but also women from the industry. On March 31st, President of SMR, Kristen Luck, will be joining us on Live with Dan. We'll bring Dan back for that one. He's a great interviewer. But we are really it's going to be a woman takeover month for Live with Dan. And so stay tuned every Friday. We're going to be highlighting different women in market research and insights, CX and EX. And we could not be more excited.
Yay, I'm so excited. That sounds amazing and so brilliant. If Crystal and I can help you with your own personal goals, mentoring goals, if anybody knows me personally, I spend a lot of my free time to give back to the local Chicago community. All the team members that I have are incredible women that have helped me grow my businesses over the last couple of years. They're also part of this amazing family now. So please reach out and let's help each other. Let's answer each other's questions. Let's have fun sessions like this. Maybe the next time we have like champagne or something. That would be fun.
I think champagne makes every day better.
I mean, how can you say no to champagne?
So make sure to join us live every Friday at 11 a.m. Central for Live with Dan. And then also make sure you're following our Empowering Workplaces podcast with the lovely Sonia Lucina and our partners over at Propel. Sorry, it took me a second, had to remember. And the first season we did was actually about the first women's recession back in 2020. And so we really have a lot of powerful content spread across. I never thought about us as like a women empowerment company, but now I'm like,
we are.
I might have to take a step back on that. It's like a whole sub brand we've got, just sneaky. Just like,
yep. But I think that comes top down, right? Like, sorry, I know we're coming close to time, but I think that's both top down in a company, bottom up in a company, and left to right and side to it. However you want to look at your culture from a company standpoint. Mm-hmm. I've worked for a lot of companies where it is not top down. It's more of the middle management that's really trying to elevate you. And that works for some companies. And in our company, in QuestionPro, part of the reason I was so attracted to it is because it's at the core layer of who we are. It's at our heart of, we want to encourage, we want to empower women, we want to empower diversity and inclusion and equity. And it's here and it's live and it's showing. So I'm very proud of it.
You're true. And we do it through not only the products we build, but the company we're building. And I think those two kind of mirror each other.
Yep.
We have got some great leaders like Tim Cornelius, who's leading our audience panel or tool. He's always trying to make sure that everyone is segmented properly and everybody gets a voice when we're surveying out. It's really incredible how passionate he is about that. And then shout out obviously to our COO and CEO, Eric Cotto and Vivek Bhaskaran. They, some days I feel like I give them a run for their money. I'm like, excuse me, I have thoughts.
We should. I know I definitely do. And I'm just the newest kid on the block. So,
but to their credit, they really are willing to listen, learn, and change, which I think is, so often something we feel like we don't have a voice, but they, some days Eric, I feel like I give Eric a run for his money and he's like, okay, I hear you. And I'm like, great.
Go do it.
And so, if on a side note, if QuestionPro is, I know Arti's looking for some people to join her team. So we are hiring, and maybe we will do that study about if you're a woman, we'll just start adding to the.
Ooh, look, I like this. I think we need to come back and look at some revenue return happening. Cultural changes happening.
Well, thank you so much, Arti. I really appreciate you joining us, and we will be doing another talk with Arti and Vivek Bhaskaran, our CEO, we got a lot of content coming out on March 22nd about how she is all of her experience in healthcare, which we didn't even talk about. I mean, we could really deep dive into Arti's career, passions, and expertise even more. And we're going to be doing that on March 27th or 22nd, Wednesday, with our CEO, Vivek Bhaskaran, talking about our walking into the healthcare industry and insights.
Awesome. I love it. I cannot wait. Wishing everybody an incredible International Women's Day. Thank you for all the incredible women that have helped me throughout my journey, both personally, professionally, back in my family, my mom, my grandmother, my sister. The list kind of goes on. And now to my incredible new family and Crystal. Oh my God, this was so fun. I can do this all day.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Have a great day, guys. Bye.
Bye.